Just sometimes I was just thinking, like I told you earlier, the idea, like, after a while, I actually forgot how to pronounce my name. I'm like, I don't know what my name is anymore. Dhinesha? Dhinesha? Dhinesha. Dhinesha. And like, I feel like it is like an existential crisis moment. What is my name? Hi, welcome to Ask Dhinesha, my advice and musings column. Now here's this question. This question is actually very fascinating because it tends to come from a particular segment of audience. So when I do shows, I sometimes meet young gay men. Now, I use young very loosely because there was one point where I suddenly realized I think I'm an old man because I was on a KTM once and I saw these like Form 4, Form 5 students and I was like 19 and I was like, these children. So I feel like I aged very fast. But so what happens is these gay men come up to me, and that's because a lot of my work when I perform spoken word tends to be very queer. And so one of the questions they ask me is, how do you come out, right? And I think in my previous video I talked a little bit about what life is like after coming out, and I think I'd like to just share some of the things that has helped me with regards to thinking about coming out. And it's also some of the things I'm like, I would change a lot of the things when it comes to my coming out, right? So here's the first thing you should know. The first person you come out to is actually yourself, right? I think a lot of us forget that sometimes we think coming out is this massive, big moment. We need to make videos, we need to like shout it to the world, because there's a lot of different ways you can come out. You could talk to people, you could send them an SMS, a WhatsApp, you can come out via email, you could do it via social media. There's a lot of different ways you can come out, right? But the first person you need to come out to is actually yourself, right? And what's very fascinating that most people don't realize is that sometimes you could come out to yourself multiple times. You could come out to yourself with your sexual orientation. You could come out to yourself with your gender. You could come out with your gender expression. There's so many different processes, and I'm going to be very honest, it can be really confusing. Like you could come out, like I remember when I came out as gay, I was like, this is it, I am gay. And then I realized I was actually queer. Now, not a huge difference, but it did throw me in a bit of a loop because sometimes we think these labels define us. These labels are now part of our identity, and these are like do or die labels and things like that. And that's not always the case, okay? So here are my things to think about before you come out. First, make sure you have a backup plan, okay? Now I hate that I have to say this, but we live in a world where we sometimes just really have no idea how people will react. And sometimes you cannot guess, but you should have a backup plan. If you're coming out to your parents and if things don't go well, make sure you know what to do and how to get help or where to stay. I'm just really hoping that nothing like that happens to you, but just in case, have a backup plan, okay? Second thing, do your research. Now, there's the research bit of like understanding what these terms mean, figuring out where it means to you, things like that. But what I'm saying when it comes to do your research is also do your research on the people you're coming out to. Especially if these are people who are going to be in your life for like forever. Your parents, your colleagues, your friends. Do your research in terms of just drop hints. I remember one of the hints I dropped at one point was I had to do an advanced public speaking class, and I did an entire presentation on gay teen suicides. And I remember telling my parents when they asked what it was about, and I was like, oh, gay teen suicides. Pin drop silence. But that's a very good gauge because then it kind of helps you understand what people are thinking about the issue. Okay? Third thing. So you've done your research, right? You have your backup plan. Okay. Third thing is timing. Okay? The last thing you want to do is come out publicly online 3 days before your grandfather's 80th birthday. When all of your extended family is going to hear about it, and you're going to arrive at your grandfather's 80th birthday to interrogate you or to say something really stupid towards you. Okay? That's the last thing you want to do. Alright? I know this because I did a coming out video 1 week before an extended family photo shoot. The photo shoot was so awkward. Okay? And the photo shoot was followed by like a family Christmas party where like everybody was there and there was alcohol involved. When there's alcohol involved, people are gonna say the shit that's in their head that they just cannot control because the alcohol is all in their system already. Okay, so my suggestion is to just really know the timing, right? If your family is going through something right now, decide if coming out is really, like coming out publicly, is really what you need to do right now. Okay, can you handle the stress? If you're struggling with something else, decide, because coming out is a process. You must also know this, it's a process. It's not a one-time event. So even if you don't come out today, you can come out tomorrow. Okay, the other thing you should know about coming out is you don't have to come out. Okay, there is never a moment where, you know, this is it, do or die. You can come out to yourself first. You could come out to close friends first. You could come out to your inner circle first, and then just slowly process that, get familiar with it, and then do that. Yeah, you don't have to go all massive with it and things like that. Okay, so those are some of the things you should really think about when it comes to coming out. But here's what you should actually do. One, really get comfortable with yourself. Okay, the last thing you want is to come out to someone and they ask you questions about yourself, which, let's be honest, they don't have the right to do. But sometimes people will just start asking you questions. How did you know? When did you know? Things like that. And if you are not comfortable with yourself yet, those questions can throw you in a bit of a spiral, and that's the last thing you want to do. Get comfortable with yourself, get to know yourself better, and know that the labels you choose for yourself can change. You could come out today as gay, mention your label is queer tomorrow. You could finally discover your gender identity and expression later on. And there's this whole process that you're going on, because coming out is a lifelong journey. Because for a lot of us, coming out starts happening when we have the vocabulary to recognize our identities. Where suddenly, oh, gay is an option, oh, queer is an option. And that's like a genuine process that takes a long time. It's a lifelong journey in this heteronormative world that we live in. Okay? In my previous episode's post-show transcript, I also talk about how coming out is a privilege. Not all of us get the opportunity, not all of us get the chance, not all of us have this, in this exact moment, the ability to come out. And so if you're seeing your friends come out and you're suddenly feeling like this peer pressure that, oh my God, I have to come out too, you don't have to, right? You could take your time, discover yourself, talk to people, just get really familiar with your identity, and then when you are ready, you can come out, and only you know when is the best time to come out. So take these tips. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then do your own thing. Because in the end, this is your life, your identity, your labels. You do you, boo. Yeah? I hope this question was answered, and I hope some of this perspective really helps you. If you have a question, don't forget to go down to the link below and ask me your questions, and I look forward to answering them. Yeah? As always, check out the post-show transcript where I talk about some of the things that maybe I forgot. You know, these are one-take videos, okay? People forget. People forget. And in the post-show transcript, I cover some of these things as well. The link will also be down below. I am so grateful to you for watching. I love you. Thank you for watching Ask Dhinesha.